be commentating this race between Kazmazotz and berlindude. It's going to get started in just a moment. In fact, they're already off. But before I get talking, let me just clean up the cropping on these timers a little bit. I can't handle a messy timer, I'm sorry. And we'll also get these runners synced up just a little bit more. That'll do for now. So welcome, it's the MMX Tournament. Kazmazotz versus berlindude. These are the first two players to be competing in the bracket stage. We are done with the group stage. We have cut the field of competitors in half, and berlindude getting bad luck there. Double passive B. Both players, well no, just berlindude had to back up and kill the B from afar, because you want to take damage from the B's guns or missiles. Those do a lot less damage than contact damage with the B, but if the B doesn't fire anything, in order to stay up there and hit the B from behind, you need to take damage from it twice. So getting hit 4 times from the B contact damage is enough to kill you. So you want those missiles or guns at least once. Otherwise, you're going to have to do what Berlin did and back up and play a little safe. You definitely want to be at low health for this forced loss situation coming up on Vile. But you want enough health such that you live. You don't want to die in the intro stage. We've seen it a couple times in this tournament, even from some pretty strong players. Synchronized file grabs from these two players. Just a hair ahead. The thinnest of hairs. For all intents and purposes, these guys are neck and neck coming out of the intro stage. On to Chill Penguin. So we got some Kaz fans in the house. Does berlindude have emotes? Does anyone out there have the emotes to prove it? I'd like to see it. No problems early on Chill Penguin stage. That's the easy part. Things get a little more complicated once you get into this section. Going for some slope jumps here. Jumping while moving down on a slope gives you a height boost and a speed boost, so you're actually going to see the players do these little weird left-right turns. It looks weird, but it is faster if you can do it well. Kazmazotz had a bit more success with it and is now maybe 2 ahead of berlindude early on here in Chill Penguin stage. The first to reach the capsule and acquire those delicious dash boots. Just because Christmas is over doesn't mean we can't dash through the snow. You know, one mech open pilot. Using it just to get up top, to take the top route here. Very tricky section, dealing with these snowballs and turrets. Kazmazotz having to wall jump a little bit off the wall there. berlindude going with the turnaround damage boost, had to back up a little bit to dodge one of those snowballs. Very hard to get through that section cleanly without stopping whatsoever. Both players got hung up a little bit, but otherwise very comparable. We'll see how their Chill Penguins compare to each other. We're seeing one slide from Berlin, one now from Kazmazotz. You do not want to see these slides. Penguin is invulnerable during this slide animation. Everything else you can work with. The slides are just, again, pretty equal amounts of slides from both sides, though. Berlin maybe getting 1 extra there, and 2 extra. Any more? Oh, man. Penguin, cut it out. This race is close. We don't need Penguin RNG separating it. But it looks like that's the case. Kazmazotz out in front by, I don't know, 7, 8 seconds, something like that. Boy, it's taking a long time for X to teleport out. What are you doing, man? He's just hanging out, contemplating the bad luck he got from the Penguin. Alright, we're on to Boomer Kuwanger stage. The one with the best music. I'm kind of not a fan of the SNES Mega Man music. I mean, it's alright, it's good. It's good music, but compared to the amount that I like the NES Mega Man music, which I think is like top tier NES music, this stuff doesn't grab me. But Boomer Kuwanger sticks out as a pretty darn good track. Here we go. Kazmazotz getting 1 hit from the turtle. berlindude actually not getting hit by the laser. Normally you do that to damage boost up to that ledge. Didn't get hit at all, but that's not enough to save berlindude from the same turtle fate. Getting hit by the missiles that the turtle shoots out. If you're very quick, you can avoid getting hit by that turtle, but it's pretty tricky. This section is not that tricky if you know how to abuse the invincibility frames on these. Basically, wall jumping off the spikes will get you the knockback and invincibility frames as if you got hit without actually making you take a hit. So, nice way to ride the elevator without any troubles. Kazmazotz doing very well so far in this vertical climbing section. Oh, went for it. There's this diagonal shot that comes up from these enemies, and if you're very quick, you can beat it and get up to the ladder, but not quite for Kazmazotz. Some players will wait and trail behind it. We'll see what Berlin does. Has also taken a couple hits. It's gotten a refill, which is maybe not so bad, because this Boomer Kuwanger fight is a little scary. Kazmazotz is going to be the first one to reach it. Be about 8 seconds or so ahead of berlindude, and we're into the dance. Jumping over the horns, repeatedly doing this sort of dance with Boomer Kuwanger. That's what you like to see. berlindude doesn't really want to dance. Is doing this dash and forth, back and forth sort of movement here. It's working out. It's not quite as fast as it was for Kazmazotz. After he hits half health, Boomer Kuwanger starts doing these teleports, and he's a little easier to deal with. Though the optimal kill is he just stays in the dance, doing the horns. You keep jumping over them all the way until he's toast. Very rare that he'll do that. So we can see for Kazmazotz, pretty much right at half health, he went into the teleport phase. But Kaz did a pretty good job there. Both players doing a pretty good job. Keeping pace with each other all through Boomer Kuwanger's stage. Both had their share of slip-ups in that stage, but as long as they both make the same slip-ups, we'll have ourselves a pretty close race. By some box here, a bit of randomness involved. Pretty sticky situation. Both players not going up here, they're going down through the falling rock section. That means they're skipping the armor upgrade. There is a mean robot thing that is responsible for some of those earthquakes and some of those blocks falling down. And if you go up there and fight it, you lose about a minute doing it, but you do gain the armor, which is a half damage upgrade, which is very significant, especially against the final boss sequence of this game. With armor, you can lose over half your health to many of the attacks that the final boss does. And it makes it incredibly scary. So I think at this phase in the tournament, I'm not sure if we're going to see any more people grabbing that armor for safety. But then again, I've seen even incredibly strong players die, not just once, but multiple times to Sigma. And in those cases, you can't help but wonder would things have gone better if they had opted for the armor. Sting Chameleon down for both players, as you can see. As long as you have the boomerangs, you can just keep them in this loop left and right, no problem. Boomerang also happens to be the weakness of that robot enemy that both players opted not to fight. If you do want to fight it, you want to use as many boomerangs as you can on that robot. And if you use too many, Sting Chameleon actually becomes a problem. Because if you do not have the boomerangs to do that nice quick kill pattern there, fighting Sting Chameleon with the Buster is actually quite a challenge. Thankfully, neither player had to deal with it. Our Storm Eagle stage, Kazmazotz is going to be riding this pillar, wants the sub-tank. This is a pretty common safety pickup for a lot of players. Ooh, a death! Kazmazotz. It just missed it. I'm not sure exactly where it happened. Obviously, it was during these floating platform sections, but I'm not sure if Kazmazotz perhaps went for the death kick. berlindude certainly is not. It's pausing just a little bit to ride these platforms safely, but berlindude has jumped up into the lead due to this death from Kaz. berlindude is going to be the first one to reach Storm. All you really want out of Storm Eagle is no dives, which is sometimes a lot to ask for. As we can see, we're getting some from berlindude, and it's more than one, so we're going to be getting 5 or 6 or more from Eagle. Look at these dives. Knock it off. Eagle wants this race to even back up, so there it is. berlindude is done with Eagle. Kazmazotz chance here. Oh, he went up, so he was thinking maybe get some dives, but no, it's the egg attack. Kazmazotz is probably... No, come back, please! Oh, we're gonna have just one dive there, not too bad. Kazmazotz picking up some time on that Eagle fight. He's gonna need a little bit more if Kazmazotz wants to retake that lead. The death kick is when you jump underneath the platform, curl around, and jump off the left side of the moving platform. As you can tell from the description, it is very finicky, very precise, and if you screw it up, if you bonk your head, if you don't turn around fast enough, and you don't get that wall jump, you're toast. So it's a wall kick that will often lead to death, I guess, is where the name Death Kick came from. It's my interpretation of the meaning of the name. And it really does sound like a pretty sweet metal band. Isn't Death Clock a metal band? They're pretty much right out there. Thunder Slimer fight for Kazmazotz. Not quite able to get the mashing into the Thunder Slimer that you want. Do some curl around shots on the Thunder Slimer. A bit of randomness going on with Thunder Slimer. You do want him to come down so you can get right up next to him and just start mashing into him with either the Chameleon Sting or the boomerangs. And he came down, but he kept hopping around. It was kind of trouble for Kazmazotz. berlindude has opted to do Flame Mammoth stage, a very short stage, so we're already seeing the Flame Mammoth fight done for berlindude. And this is not, I wouldn't call this as much of a lead as it appears for berlindude. Flame Mammoth is a little shorter. Mandrill's not too long either, but I think Flame Mammoth is a good deal shorter. And Flame Mammoth, the reason they're doing this different route is because Flame Mammoth, you don't really need too much to do that stage, so you don't really use the Fire Wave you get from Flame Mammoth on any of the other stages, so you can kind of slot it in wherever you want. We're seeing all kinds of different players opting to fight Flame Mammoth at different times, and all it really does is confuse us poor viewers a little bit as to who is truly ahead. Now, off to Spark Mandrill as well. Kazmazotz had a very good Spark Mandrill fight, using the ice to lock him down. We'll get to talk a little bit about it once Berlin Dude gets there. Got to do Thunder Slammer first. A little bit too far is first to connect, hoping Thunder Slammer comes down. There it is, but switch to the Tornado, so not able to really get the mashing. And Tornado's good when Thunder Slammer's up high, because you can get up high, place the Tornado, and it'll have this nice active hitbox hitting it multiple times up at the top. When Thunder Slammer's up, you know, on the bottom, you want to have those boomerangs or Chameleon Sting, and you want to get right next to it and just pump it full. Regardless, it was, I think, a little bit faster than Kazmazotz's Thunder Slammer fight. Kazmazotz is going into Armored Armadillo stage, and not Flame Mammoth, so it's going to be at least one more stage until we see which of these players is really ahead. Armored Armadillo is a pretty fun stage. Running into the side of the cart there. There is a spike on the side of that cart. It takes care of a lot of enemies, but it'll take care of you too if you decide to run your face into it. A couple of optional safety items available to be picked up in Armored Armadillo stage. Kazmazotz is going to go ahead and throw the boomerang at the heart to grab that one. A very common safety pickup. Increase max health by 2. And now we got a Spark Mandrill fight from Berlin Dude. Opening with the Charge Buster, then switching to Ice. As you can see, you actually want to be shooting Spark Mandrill before he breaks out of the ice, because his won't last quite as long as the frozen animation. Berlin Dude had to deal with one Mike Tyson punch from a Spark Mandrill, but otherwise had a very solid fight. Armored Armadillo. We're getting no rolls from Armored Armadillo. Very nice. Before you get a chance to shock off Armadillo's armor, sometimes Armadillo will roll around all around the screen, eat up several seconds, and there's nothing you can do. But that was a very nice Armadillo fight from Kazmazotz. Berlin Dude looking for more of the same. Mayonnaise instrument. Nope, I can't imagine what Scottster is possibly trying to say. Kazmazotz is still not doing Flame Mammoth, heading to launch Octopus, jumping just over these turtles. And I think is, yep, just barely going to clear that ledge. The subs here are a big opportunity to gain and lose time. A couple different things they can do: blow you away, suck you in, shoot things at you. Why? Whoosh reference right over my head. Dealing with the second submarine. Pretty tricky with the spikes there, but Kazmazotz threading the needle, doing a very good job of dealing with it. Berlin Dude also opted to pick up that safety heart in Armored Armadillo, and is now moving on to that fight. Kazmazotz is spawning this water snake thing. It's getting off screen because this thing is really laggy, and does get the quick kill. Placing the Storm Tornado just so to take that thing out while it's still nice and low on the screen. Very tricky, and a very good Armadillo pattern for Berlin Dude as well. Oh, Armadillo gets away just a little bit, but a very minor time loss, and overall a very, very good fight for Berlin Dude. Kazmazotz into launch Octopus. Is going to be cutting the arms off of Octopus. This is an optional thing you can do. For a minor time loss, you can guarantee that Octopus doesn't do any of the attacks that really waste time, particularly the swirly whirlpool thing. So Kazmazotz having a very solid fight. It can be tricky to land the rolling shields on Octopus because he's constantly spitting out missiles and fish and all kinds of things. So the really on rolling shield can sometimes make it hard to land that on Octopus between all the things that it's constantly spitting out, especially when you cut off the arms. But Kazmazotz had a very, very there. Berlin Dude also now to launch Octopus, and Kazmazotz finally doing Flame Mammoth. So final Robot Master stages for both players. Berlin Dude's been in Launch Octopus quite a bit, and Kazmazotz is only just starting Flame Mammoth, but like I said, Flame Mammoth is a much shorter stage, so I think these runners are actually going to be quite close coming out of the 8 Robot Masters. Mavericks? Are they Mavericks in this one? They're bosses, and there's 8 of them. 7 of them are dead for both players. Berlin Dude not having the cleanest of launch octopus stages so far. Coming up onto this water snake as well. Was pretty early on that shot, but did get the kill. So what do I know? And we're seeing boss doors from both players. Look how close they are. We'll see what kind of strategy we see from berlindude. Has the rolling shield equipped, so I don't think we're going to be seeing any arm chopping going on. So that means we're at the mercy of RNG for some of these attacks. There's the swirly. That's not what you want to see. If you get, I think it's like 2.5 points for when it's better to cut off Octopus's arms. Flame Mammoth already dead. Dude still having to deal with Octopus. Jumps up there and gets him. And so we can see Kaz in the lead by about 10 seconds or so. We weren't sure. We weren't sure, but we are now. Just a couple words from our friend Zero before we move on to the Sigma stages. Are we going to be seeing a leap of faith? Very tricky jump between these moving platforms. Death. You went for it? No? Okay, yeah. Read the situation, realized Kazmazotz was not going to make it, and smartly backing up to the platform. berlindude not even going to go for it. Kazmazotz at 6 health or less, which is what you need. Cue the cutscene skip here by not touching the floor. The floor is lava. The floor is cutscenes, which is basically lava for speedrunners. And that's going to make the... Well, you don't need the low health for the cutscene skip. I think you need it for this part here where Vile with the stun ray. But you do need to not touch the floor. There is a small risk of a soft lock here, but as soon as Zero breaks out of that capsule, and that's when you know that you're good, you're not going to soft lock here. Vile getting away from Kazmazotz a little bit. Vile has a very... so you can hit him very quickly. And with an unwieldy weapon like Rolling Shield and with the way Vile jumps around, it's actually very tricky to get an optimal Vile fight. berlindude having to wait a couple times for some of those aerial attacks, but otherwise pretty comparable fights from both players. berlindude losing the dash speed there a little bit on those springs. Getting tripped up just a little bit. Kazmazotz into the Boomer Kawanga refight. We've got his weakness this time. Players will play this a little differently. Some will stay on the floor, some will go up high. But it's kind of more the same thing. Players don't really do the dash dance, though, with the Boomer Kawanga refight the way they do with the first phase. But you will see them generally approach the second phase of the fight the same. Standing ground and just shooting the missiles out as Boomer Kawanga teleports in. The first one onto the bow spider. berlindude, again, having a bit of trouble keeping the dash speed through some of these jumps. Backing up a little bit from one of those enemies. Bow spider, very tricky. Weird pattern Kazmazotz got there. Being able to read where Bow Spider is going to go in the short amount of time the game gives you is very tricky. And you need to be able to read where Bow Spider is going to go because, one, you take a ton of contact damage if you get hit. And two, you want to be using this charged isolate attack and it takes forever to get moving, so you really need to be right next to Bow Spider when you release the attack in order to really hit with it. Oh, Kazmazotz thought the spider was going to be on the far right, or maybe just a little too slow to dash to the left, but at the very end of a very long fight, Kazmazotz takes a death to Bow Spider. Berlindude also gets hit on the health to take that hit, though, and had a very weird pattern from Bow Spider, able to get the kill. Berlindude once again jumps up into the lead. Kazmazotz take 2 is low on ice here. Is gonna just do single shots. Another thing you can do is switch to the Buster and then charge up like Kazmazotz just did, because you need to fire once in order to start charging. Same button to shoot as it is to charge. So when you don't have enough ammo, you want to switch to something other than your precious ice to fire that initial shot to begin charging. Kazmazotz missed the phase there and took a hit, and is now having to Buster the rest of this fight. I think 3 more hits required for Bow Spider. Berlindude all the way on to the Penguin refight. You've got Penguin's weakness this time in the Fire Wave, one of the only times you ever really see the Fire Wave in this run. Bow Spider down for Kazmazotz. Very clutch recovery kill. Berlindude is pretty far ahead here, but we've seen Kazmazotz gain time on Berlindude through all the other stages. So not with that, like, even, you know, counting out a boss shenanigans, anything can happen with this final boss. But even not looking at that part, Kazmazotz can get really close to Berlindude just through execution. If Kazmazotz can tighten it up here and finish strong on these last few Sigma stages. Kazmazotz into Chill Penguin as Berlindude into the Eagle refight. We saw Berlindude get a couple slides kind of unavoidable. We'll see how many Kazmazotz gets, and likewise we'll be looking for dives from Storm Eagle. 2 slides for Kaz, and multiple dives for Berlindude. There's 4. That's a third for Kaz. 5, 6 dives for Berlindude. 7 dives. 8 dives. I think 9's the max. That's 9 dives. All right. Horrible Eagle luck for Berlindude, and pretty average Penguin luck for Kazmazotz. But execution-wise, both players doing a great job on their respective boss fights. Not that the execution side of things is all that hard on those 2 fights in particular. It is quite hard on Rang to Bangda, the fight that Berlindude is just coming into. Kazmazotz not too far behind, beginning the Storm Eagle fight. Sea Sting is the weakness for this boss. Blue eyes are what you want to see. It can be pretty tricky to land some of those hits with the Chameleon Sting on those eyes, but blue eyes are out there nice and long. Taking a couple hits here. Berlindude can't afford to take too many. Green's not what you want to see. Not vulnerable for very long. 1 eye is down for Berlindude. The nose is down, and final hit, Rang to Bangda, is down for Berlindude. Got a little scary there at the end of the fight, rather low on health, but Berlindude knew exactly what they were doing. Storm Eagle is down for Kazmazotz. I saw a fair number of dives as well for Kazmazotz, so not making up much time, if any, on Berlindude in that fight. We'll see how Rang to Bangda goes for Kazmazotz. There's Sigma 3, and then the final bosses left. Aim to catch Berlindude. Oh, double green eye pattern. Not what you want to see. Only 1 hit on each eye. Berlindude hoping to get the armadillo skip here. Damage, knockback, sled, pushes Berlindude through the door, and the camera stays nice and low. That's what you want to see. If the camera's too high, armadillo, and you will have to fight that whole fight. Okay, Kazmazotz scared me a little bit underneath the final eye, waiting to land that last hit, but does curl around and shoot that final shot. So Kazmazotz holding. Still not too far behind Berlindude, who is into the Sting Chameleon fight. Really needs this armadillo skip to stay in it. We saw Berlindude do the damage boost strat. Kazmazotz is gonna just walk in making it look easy. That is a very precise trick. Neither player is screwing around with spawning Armored Armadillo. I don't know if they're keeping track on where their opponent is. It's possible they both know how close this is. I've seen a couple of these Mega Man X guys are willing to mess around a little bit, show off some fun stuff at the cost of a couple seconds, but one of the things you can do is spawn Armored Armadillo after the skip, and his sprite glitches out in a weird way, and it's fun, but it's a couple seconds, and so no thanks. Berlindude and Kazmazotz. Pure execution on the mind. Shockwave to take out the fish. Berlindude's going to go up high to refill on health. Took a couple of hits through some of these refights. Kaz's turn for the Spark Mandrill refight. Just kind of one boss for the most part. This Berlindude is heading into Octopus again. Fight's going well for both players. Kazmazotz took a couple of hits from Octopus. Probably going to be picking up a refill before the D-Rex fight. It's a pretty scary fight. So we'll see. He is charging the Chameleon Sting to go up top and run along the spikes for that refill. And Kaz doesn't need to detour for the refill. Came out of the Spark Mandrill at full health. So again, it's just one boss fight apart here. Berlindude getting a far jump from Mammoth, not able to get 2 hits with 1 tornado there. Not the opening you want from Mammoth. You really don't want Mammoth to toot his trunk and reverse the direction of the conveyor belt. That will put you all the way across the room by the time he's done exploding. Launch Octopus, a bit of tricky stuff there that Kazmazotz had to deal with, but does get him down. Mammoth down for Berlindude is going to be heading into the D-Rex fight. Kazmazotz took a couple hits from Launch Octopus. That's very common, very hard to get out of that fight without taking any damage. So Kazmazotz also going to be taking the refill as Berlindude heads into the D-Rex fight. Pretty tricky to get into the top part of D-Rex. You can have your boomerangs curl upwards. Ooh, okay, gonna get chomped once. Can't have that happen again. You are on the upwards trajectory. Waiting long to shoot it. Boomerang is gonna hit D-Rex. And that's a problem. So that was a pretty close call there for Berlindude. D-Rex down. Done with Flaming, I think. Hopefully connection issues resolved by now. Into the Jedi fight here for Berlindude. Need to get a couple of pixels off the wall whenever you shoot the spark into the wall, because otherwise your spark is too far inside the wall and doesn't actually make contact. You're seeing that a couple times from Berlindude. A couple of missed hits here. Still has a fair lead on Kazmazotz, though. It's looking more and more like it's going to be some kind of death to the final phase of this fight. That is Kazmazotz's last hope. Berlindude full health. Kazmazotz took a look at the sub-tank, saw that it was filled, but is going to hold on to use it. Berlindude up on the claws and falls down, immediately takes a hit, almost got squished, gets hit again by the claws. Down to very low health. This is a very scary situation. Still needs to land several hits on Wolf Sigma, and these claws are random. The lightning is random. Everything is random, and it can be very hard to deal with. Some of these patterns Only needs 3 more hits, 2 more hits, 1 more hit. The claw comes in! Oh no, berlindude has died to Wolf Sigma with 1 hit left. berlindude has to farm and refill the rolling shield and the ice and the spark. Kazmazotz has been gifted this one opportunity. Here we go. Lots of lightning from this first claw. Kazmazotz dealing with all of it. Getting to the right side of the claw to dodge the lightning while also still getting hits. Right claw comes in to screw things up a little bit, but no follow-up lightning from the left claw. Oh no! Okay, 1 more hit. Get up there. Get up there. Okay, Kazmazotz finishing it off. A very tense finish at the end there. Kaz was looking like they were going to have a perfectly clean fight at the end. And then the claw came in. And I was worried. I was a little worried. But Kazmazotz stays cool, gets back up there, and lands the final hit. So that is going to be a win in Game 1 for Kazmazotz. Back and forth between these two players the whole way. But this final fight, even for very strong runners, like both of these players, this final boss is a threat. Where the claws move, when the lightning comes out, what attacks come out of Sigma's mouth, it's all random. And it can be very hard to deal with. So even though berlindude is already lost, there's still at least 1 more game to play. If berlindude has any say about it, there will be 2 games to play. And that means you need to be in a pretty good mental space heading into Game 2. So you don't want to just forfeit out after a tragic death to the final boss. You don't want that to be the thing that you lead off into Game 1. And we're seeing maybe some spoilers from berlindude in chat, getting really unlucky patterns. See what I mean? How do you deal with that? That's so unfair. The claw shuts the door on the left, unable to all sparks from the mouth. Oh, it's not fair. It's just not fair. No forfeit yet from berlindude. So I think we're gonna see berlindude go up for some revenge. But that's why, even in what looks to be the most decided race in this MMX Any Tournament, in this category, the final boss can change everything. So we're farming up here. We used all our ice and our spark and our rolling shield. So we need to kill these enemies and get our refills. berlindude feels like, you know, this is enough ice. Only really needed for the Velgarder phase. It's rather short. Velgarder has a very short invincibility period, so it's possible to land a lot of hits on Velgarder very rapid fire. Oh, this is in this sequence of fights, taking a lot of hits from Velgarder. Really, he was so low, if you're not going to use it then, you're not going to use it, you're just going to die. So not a strong start for attempt number 3 here for berlindude. But Jedi typically is not a problem for stronger players. You can certainly gain and lose some time with some missed hits, but generally players don't take a lot of damage from Jedi Sigma. And then with Wolf Sigma, it can kind of be feast or famine. Sometimes you know, there's no lightning, there's nothing really, and you're free to just hit Wolf Sigma as you please. And sometimes you're just going to get the worst patterns ever, and you're not going to be able to deal with it. So here we go. Third tries the charm. Rather tame patterns from so far. No lightning from the left claw. The right claw comes in, but not really getting anything done. Okay, that is trouble. Right claw blocking up the ceiling as well. Lands one hit. Can still take one hit from just about anything, is berlindude. But otherwise, has a very solid fight. berlindude finishing out game 1. And that means I can go ahead and record this match so that we can rematch and get into game 2. berlindude in the chat lamenting some of the patterns that Right Claw gave him. I think if it wasn't for the Right Claw, a player could generally deal with anything Sigma did. Unless if it just constantly fired lightning from the left claw so that you were trapped in the corner and then it hit you with the projectiles. There's nothing you can really do about that. But once you get up on the claw, as long as the right claw leaves you alone, you can deal with anything else. I'll let these players know. That we're ready whenever they're ready for game number 2 of Kazmazotz versus berlindude here in the Mega Man X tournament. Kazmazotz took game 1. berlindude had it. Had the lead up through most of the Sigma stages, all the way up to the final phase of the final boss fight. Took a death, Kazmazotz was there to capitalize. Glad, well, I'm not glad that berlindude seems to have forgotten turn off stream alerts, but I am glad to see a couple follows, or whatever those sounds were. Both players doing the menu dance. The demo in Mega Man X starts rather aggressively off the title screen, so players will constantly be moving on the title screen while they wait for a race bot to count down, and that's how you know that this race is just about to start. We saw berlindude get tripped up a little bit in the intro stage last time. We're going to be looking for what kind of B patterns they get. Kazmazotz takes a hit from one of those missile launchers, but gets the health refill, so is otherwise in a neutral state with regards to these Bs. Passive B for both players, so you can see they're now at half health. If they get that passive B again, second time around, they're not going to be able to take those same 2 body shots. So they're really hoping to get missiles. No missiles for berlindude, has to back off. Same for Kazmazotz. Bad luck from both players, having to kill the B from afar and having to drop down and jump around. Refill from Kaz, but at what cost? berlindude has already killed the B and climbed back up. Kazmazotz actually a little bit behind. We'll see if the player's luck changes, perhaps. There's a bit of RNG coming up with what Vile decides to do before he hurries up and grabs you and initiates the sequence that ends the level. Penguin, of course, the first Maverick on the chopping block. Oh my goodness, Kazmazotz! There was a bit of a hiccup there, and Kazmazotz just jumps straight into the pit. A death in the intro stage. Starting off on the wrong foot. We saw Kazmazotz take a couple of deaths throughout the 8 Maverick stage. But was able to recover. Is going to need some more of that same tenacity. Does manage to clear the jump that time. And has a ton of health, so wanted to get hit by some of those cars, but they drove off to the left. A couple more cars being delivered. Your own personal damage-taking machine. And Kaz didn't really get hit by any of them, so he's going to have to take a couple hits from Vile here before Vile decides to finally end this thing. Punch, please. One more. Okay. A very troublesome intro stage from Kazmazotz. Berlindude already into Chill Penguin. Kicking those feet up. Mega Man X's exaggerated run animation. Not going for any slope jumps on the bottom floor this time. Those didn't really work out for Berlindude. Releasing the Buster too early to kill that wheel enemy and taking a hit. Slope jump also not working out again for Berlindude. Some rough edges here, but no deaths, as we can see. Those are what really cost you time in this game. But if Berlindude keeps having some rough edges like that, those time losses can add up if Kazmazotz is able to capitalize. Dash boots acquired for Berlindude. Taking a hit from some of those copter enemies. We'll see how this sequence goes. Kazmazotz doing some slope jumps, looking good. Able to wall jump and get up in front of that wheel enemy in time. Very clean start section. Chill Penguin stage here. Berlindude taking a couple of hits from that snowball and turret section right before the boss. Some of them intentional, but at least one of them wasn't, I'm pretty sure. Into the Chill Penguin fight. We're looking for no slides. Haven't got any yet. The 0 slide is very rare. We're not going to be seeing it today from Berlindude. Ooh, actually missing a shot there. The slides are random and are the slowest thing objectively that that Penguin can give you, but it's up to the player to capitalize on all of these other attacks, jumping on the other side of the ice clones to land those hits. Berlindude missing a couple opportunities to get some quick hits on Penguin. We'll see how it goes for Kazmazotz. Jumping over the ice clones, getting right in Penguin's face. 2 slides now. Good execution and luck so far in the Penguin fight. One more hit. Nice. A very, very solid Chill Penguin fight from Kazmazotz. Berlindude retreating from that extendo mace enemy a little bit. Moving through Boomer Kerwanger's stage. Got hit by this turtle last time, is able to get through it cleanly this time. He's going to go ahead and wait for some of these other turtles. Kazmazotz about half a stage back or so. berlindude not going with the wall spike invincibility frame trick on the elevator, dashing back and forth. Only took one hit. Kazmazotz taking, I think, an unintended hit there, but does get past the first turtle, and just barely getting through some of these other turtles. Got hit, but was able to immediately wall kick off the wall and keep going. Really tricky vertical climb. This stage didn't go well for either player in game one. berlindude having a couple of troubles there. Does finally get going. But no trouble from that diagonal. Kazmazotz very low on health, but is seems to be at least a little comfortable with things in general. Was kind of shooting to the music there, hanging out on the elevator. And that's important. It's important to be in a good place. Climb going very well so far. Recognizing that enemy didn't die, and also going to be playing it safe, not trying to get ahead of that diagonal shot. So a bit of caution from Kazmazotz, and it's worked out. Has safely gotten into the Kuwanger fight. berlindude already done with this boss fight. Into the dance now for Kaz. How long does Boomer Kuwanger decide to stay and dance? Immediately goes into the teleport phase. But the cleanup from Kaz, very strong. berlindude, distinct chameleon. Has been losing, I think, just a little bit of time to Kaz throughout the past two Maverick stages. Taking a couple hits from these falling blocks. It is random, but oof. Almost down to half health there, I think. Pretty rough section for berlindude. Kazmazotz also starting Sting Chameleon stage as well. berlindude not going to be grabbing the extra life. It's pretty much free if you want to switch to the boomerang. Fire it out there. Kaz taking one hit in the falling rock section, two. Slowing down just a little bit there, but otherwise going much better for Kaz than it did for Berlin, who is moving into the boss fight now. No extra life for Kaz either. Boomerangs out, right and left and right and left. Easy. Taking a hit there at the end, but it's all good. As long as those projectiles are in flight, doesn't really matter. See how it goes for Kaz now. Oh, the little differently, hitting him from the left for the first two hits. Rhythm in the rhyme of Sting Chameleon's defeat. berlindude is hitting into Storm Eagle. We'll see how this goes. This was where Kazmazotz took a death in game one. Is probably going to be thinking about it a little bit. Hopefully they're able to conquer that particular demon this time around. berlindude playing it pretty safe on these moving platforms. Kazmazotz is moving really well through the past couple. Nicely from that death in the intro stage. But still trails berlindude by about half a stage. Kazmazotz playing a little more cautious on the moving platforms that time. Similar adjustment as we saw in Boomer Kawanger's stage. But despite the small cautionary movements, Kazmazotz is still making up a lot of ground on berlindude through these first couple stages. He's going to be getting into the Storm Eagle fight before berlindude is done. Thanks in part to the multiple dive pattern that berlindude got. See how it goes for Kaz. Just the eggs and the wind, so that's going to be pretty much a 0 dive kill from Kazmazotz. The birds are on Kaz's side in this one. Berlin's route, as we know, takes him into the stage of the place where it makes sense, where you can slot Mammoth in without really losing time. Doing it right after Eagle, and I'm pretty sure Kaz does it last. This is a Mammoth, what, 4th? Compared to 8th. So it'll be a little while before we see who's in the lead. If Kazmazotz keeps gaining ground throughout the remaining Maverick stages, we could see a lead change by the time we get to our first Sigma stage. The Thunder Slimer fight for Kazmazotz. It's stayed up on the ceiling quite a bit, and now it's bouncing around, and now it's kind of too close, really, to get some of those hits in. It's going to have to switch to the Tornado, and basically not a great fight from Kaz with the Thunder Slimer. We'll see how Burnin' Newmander goes for berlindude, the bizarre Japanese name for Flame Mammoth. Placing these Storm Tornadoes nice and high in case Mammoth jumps, though did miss a hit there. Yeah, 5th to 8th, that's what I thought. I must have missed one. Spark Mandrill stage going well for Kazmazotz. Thunder Slimer aside. It's going to be heading into the boss. Keeping distance from Flame Mammoth. Oh, missing a couple hits there. Can be a little hard to miss Flame Mammoth with the spread of the ice shotgun attack, but it can happen. Kaz was keeping distance from Flame Mammoth just in case that punch came out. Ended up getting a no punch pattern. We'll see how Thunder Slimer goes for berlindude. Comes down. Opportunity to do some damage, but was trapped in the gook. Couldn't get in there. And is having to chase Thunder Slimer down. This is not a great fight from berlindude either. As Kaz moves on to Armored Armadillo. Berlin section of Mandrill stage. Going up for the heart. One of a couple hearts that some players will opt to pick up. Just a minor time lost for a bit of safety and consistency. berlindude losing dash speed a little bit on that last section. Kazmazotz going to be picking up the heart in Armadillo stage as berlindude gets into the Mandrill fight. Ooh, not that punch. And another punch. Wow, very low on health is berlindude. Still a couple more hits to go. Very wisely retreat far for the second to last hit. Just in case another punch came out. armored armadillo fight. And here are the bulls. We didn't see any. Kaz only appears to be ahead because berlindude has already killed Flame Mammoth. Kazmazotz has not. So we're not going to see who is really ahead until all 8 Mavericks are down for both players. berlindude just started Armadillo stage. Is moving very well so far. A couple of times now I've seen berlindude jump before dashing, losing that dash speed for a little bit. Kazmazotz is into launch Octopus's stage. Very solid opening. berlindude also picked up from Armadillo stage. Having a bit of trouble from the suction attack of the sub is Kazmazotz. See how the second one goes. Getting the laser that. berlindude is about to start the Armadillo. How does this kind of pattern do we get here? No rolls. Seem to favor Kazmazotz, but the ground ones are on berlindude's side as far as RNG goes. Kazmazotz's placement for this water stake enemy is good, but opted not to leave right away. Wanted to see what kind of health drop would come from that enemy, because Kaz is pretty low on health here. Very hard to not get hit in the launch octopus fight. Arms cut now. Ooh, actually getting in between the missiles there is Kaz. Is certainly comfortable with dodging these missile attacks. And definitely has to do at least some dodging here. Can't really trade any more hits. Oh, okay. That first, that was supposed to be the last shot, got eaten by the missiles. You cut Octopus's arms with Boomer Kawanger's weapon. Boomerang Cutter, I think it's called, but the blades cut off all those arms. It's still unclear who's ahead. Launch Octopus is a much longer stage than Flame Mammoth. Kazmazotz is just starting Flame Mammoth stage. berlindude has already done it. So they're now both on their last stages for the 8 Robot Masters. And if I had to guess, I think berlindude is just a little bit ahead, but it is very close. Water Snake enemy placement of the tornado is good, and berlindude doesn't need the health, so is just dashing straight away. berlindude already into the octopus fight. Kaz took a hit from one of those falling enemies, but then got a health drop to compensate. Not that you're really too worried about health in the Flame Mammoth fight the way that you are in the octopus fight. We're seeing this whirlpool swirly and berlindude launch octopus fight. This is because berlindude is opting not to cut off the arms. It is a little faster if you don't get any swirly attacks. If you get some, it's all kind of easy. Through the fish to deliver the final hit. berlindude scaring me a little bit at the end of that fight, but is done with Longest. It was on the Flame Mammoth fight. Waited a little bit there to get the last 2 hits, but otherwise getting the kill. So both players now are going to be moving on to the Sigma stage. Berlindude not going for the leap of faith. Berlindude taking a couple of hits here and purposely avoiding the health drop from that enemy. You want to be low on health because you're dealing with a vile fight. I missed whether or not Kaz went for / got the leap of faith, but they looked like they were through that section pretty quick, so I wouldn't be surprised if he got it. Don't touch the ground here. Wall kick up through the ladder and off the wall. And that's how you initiate this cutscene skip here. You basically get 2 cutscenes kind of happening at the same time. That's why it looks so weird right now, what's going on. Berlindude screen. But Zero has broken out of his capsule and is bravely sacrificing himself for the 60th time or so in this tournament. I guess double that if you count 2 players per match. Endless sacrifice for the cause. Good guy Zero. Gives us a buster upgrade afterwards too. Berlindude takes a hit from... The timing of the hit was such that it mostly overlapped with Vile's invincibility frames anyway, so actually a pretty solid Vile fight from Berlin. Kaz getting caught at the last hit. But these guys are still quite close, and there is a couple of stages left. Berlindude spring section going a fair bit better until Berlindude takes a hit from this mace enemy at the end of the hallway. Opts to use the sub-tank to refill. Taking another hit there. But is now into the Boomer Clanger fight. And Kazmazotz is flying up this shaft before the Boomer Clanger fight. And look how close these players are now. Oh, Berlindude got caught there, but had the missile out, curling around and homed in to save Berlindude from the toss-up in. And wow, look at that. 4 or 5 seconds apart now. Berlindude is feeling the pressure. Opting for a refill there. Kazmazotz as well, going back even for just that small health drop. This is a very similar situation as Game 1. A very close race was suddenly opened up quite a bit by a death to Bow Spider for Kaz in Game 1. So Kaz had to be thinking about that when that small health drop came in the previous room. Getting a couple hatchlings. Wastes a bit of time just with throwing them out. And then can also trip you up dealing with them afterwards. Just 1 cycle ahead here is Berlindude. Deals with the hatchlings, lands the final hit, very nice. Kaz as well, 1 more hit, and gets a pretty safe pattern with no bars on the right side of the screen. He was able to wait on the right, play it safe, dash in, deliver the final hit, no problems on Bow Spider for either player. On to Sigma 2. Charged Chameleon Sting invulnerability being put to good use. Kaz going with the Rolling Shield instead. Has a much cleaner opening section there. Dashes into the drinking bird there, who's just kind of hanging out. Into yet another bird. Berlindude was up on the wall there for a little bit, instead of down below, dealing the damage to Penguin. Oh my goodness, look how close they are. The slides. Kill for Berlin. And 1 last slide, keeping these players in this 4 to 5 second gap Kazmazotz touches the spikes. What happened? Luckily, that is not a very costly death. We've seen much, much worse deaths in this race alone, let alone this tournament. But Kaz was only 5 seconds back. It is now more like 15-20. Oh, the health pickup. Whenever you pick up anything that refills one of the bars on screen, the game will pause during that refill, and if you're not ready for it, you'll press your jump input while the game is paused. It's a pretty common thing across all Mega Man games. Kazmazotz, the victim of a little bit of bad luck there, wasn't able to deal with it. Rang to bang to fight for Berlin Dude now. Got a couple, at least one blue eye there. That's the opening you want from this fight. Based off of the health, I think it was only one blue eye. Red's not too bad. Better than green. Oh, missed that last hit. Okay, is able to get the last hit with a double red there. Down. Very solid fight for Berlin. Kaz gets a nice blue eye second time around. Nose down. One more hit for each eye. Very quickly delivering those last few hits. Kaz is looking good. A couple of deaths in places I'm sure Kaz was not expecting, but has done a very good job of dealing with Kazmazotz with the low skip. Took a couple of tries there to get it going, but it is a lot more consistent, and that is a successful armadillo skip. Kazmazotz doesn't get it. Moves too close to the door. Camera scrolls up. That's going to spawn Armored Armadillo. Kazmazotz now has to do this fight. This is a good 20-30 seconds more that Kazmazotz is going to drop back. Stinky Chameleon is going well for Berlin Dude. Extra time for the safer armadillo skip has worked out for Berlin Dude. Stinky Chameleon is down. Berlin Dude looking pretty good on health. Isn't going to try to boomerang into that health drop up there. It's going to be moving on to Spark Mandrill. Kaz into Stinky Chameleon. And basically, just like we saw in Game 1, Berlin Dude is about one boss fight ahead here in Sigma 3. Spark Mandrill fight goes very well for Berlin Dude. Kaz is going for the charged boomerang on the, you don't see that, but it's a nice little strat. Berlin Dude's going to pick up just a bit of health there to top off. Berlin Dude's also concerned about filling up the sub-tank, because Berlin Dude used that pretty early on in Sigma 1, I believe, and is going to want that sub-tank filled for the final boss. Swirly attack from Launch Octopus. Could be a chance for Kaz to make up some ground. 2 now. I think if you get more than 2, that's when you were better off cutting off the arms of the octopus, and there's 3. So Berlin Dude not getting the greatest luck. 4 now from Octopus. If you're feeling brave, you can jump into the attack to cancel it, but you will take some damage. And there's a small chance you get caught in an infinite loop where he just drains all your health and you die, so there's also that to worry about. And health is also at a premium in this level. You tend to bleed health throughout a couple of these boss fights, and the D-Rex fight is very scary. So you don't see it too much from players in this Launch Octopus fight. Kaz dancing with the fish. Gets 1 swirly attack. 2. This Flame Mammoth is down for Berlin Dude. Very solid fight. 3 now for Kaz. And I guess counting the swirly attacks is kind of a moot point at this point. You want to be saving your boomerangs, so you're not going to be cutting off Launch Octopus's arms in the second fight. At least for our players. Kaz getting a Sting Chameleon refill as well, as Berlindude is into the D-Rex fight. He's having a very solid fight so far. Alright, gets right in the middle of the chomp attack. Can't get hit by that again. Can get hit by the teeth on the outside though. And the boomerang curling around. That is D-Rex down. Not the cleanest fight, but it's all Berlindude needs right now to stay in. Mammoth down for Kaz. And got the conviction. So Kaz drifting all the way to the left side of the room during the boss explosion. Not what you want to see. Is now into the D-Rex fight as Berlindude is spawning the bottom of the final climb before Sigma. Kazmazotz D-Rex fight looking beautiful so far. Takes the one hit there. It's gonna have to be a little safer throughout the rest of this fight. Oh, that's the pattern you want to see right there. Kazmazotz able to deliver the final few hits as Berlindude starts the final boss. Starts with Velgarder. This didn't go so well for Berlindude on the third attempt. In game 1, is playing it very safe, getting up on the wall. And that's all he really needs. Keep the health high, don't die. And that'll be the W for Berlindude. Into the Jedi Sigma phase now. Keeping calm and carrying on. That's the name of the game. And then get lucky on Wolf Sigma, because if you get unlucky, keeping calm ain't gonna help you. Kazmazotz taking some hits on the Velgarder fight is gonna opt to refill before the Jedi Sigma phase. Berlindude still has that sub-tank as he moves on to the final phase. Berlindude needs this to force Game 3 and to stay alive in the tournament. We saw 2 deaths from Wolf Sigma, opening it up with the claw pinning against the left wall. Couple of lightning attacks. Whoa, okay. Pretty tricky stuff from Sigma, but Berlindude is holding on. Oh, a little bit too close to the middle of the claw. The lightning attack clips Berlindude's back foot, and this is another death to Sigma for Berlindude from a position that would have won the race. Are we going to see a repeat of Game 2? Kazmazotz now in the lead, poised to finish this boss off, claim Game 2, claim the match, and move on in the tournament. It's looking very good so far. Right Claw being very tame. Oh, he's making it look so easy. Oh my goodness, a beautiful Wolf Sigma fight from Kazmazotz in Game 2. Oh my goodness. That's just the way it goes sometimes. GG to Kazmazotz. Berlindude is going to finish this one out. The difference you can see in this fight when you get the good patterns and when you get the bad patterns. The amount of lightning you get from the left claw, the amount of interference you get from the right claw. I'm going to go ahead and switch to Berlindude's audio. I normally do encourage our viewers to follow the runners, but I think Berlindude has stream alerts on, so just wait a little bit until the race is over. Till then, Jedi Sigma phase. Took 1 or 2 hits from the Velgarder. I think that's just 1 from Velgarder. So is looking pretty good. Can still get hit by at least once by anything Wolf Sigma has to throw out. Trying to get these last few hits here. It's kind of low on Spark. 1 more. All right, that's going to do it. All you need is enough to finish off Jedi Sigma. After that, it's all about the rolling shield. About the rolling shield, it's about the health. So much damage from everything. No, Claw. Pausing, shutting the door. That is the other main point of RNG. There's lightning, there's what the right claw decides to do, and it's does the left claw even let you wall jump off the side? Wow, getting pretty risky there. 2 hits off the right claw. There's certainly a lot of randomness and luck involved with this fight, but you also need to be able to adapt to what happens. And a couple of hits there, Kazmazotz could have avoided, but it doesn't matter. Cleaning it up. Second time around, berlindude is going to finish official SRL time of 37:54 compared to Kazmazotz 35:29. Both players in both games, I think, were fairly capable of putting up better times than they did. I think neither player is going to be super happy about the way these races have gone. Obviously, Kazmazotz is going to be feeling a little better about walking away with the win, and especially the way berlindude had it in game 1 and 2, and it just slipped away. So berlindude has already hopped straight in here. Are you there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
How are you doing?
Well, I want to see the chat guys after dying in the first one to play normal after that. It was interesting.
Also joining us here. Currently muted. Had it in game 1 and 2. Oh, and it just slipped away. So berlindude has already hopped straight in here.
Yeah, it sounds like it has an echo.
Sorry about the echo, guys. Should be fixed now. So that was were you keeping track of where you guys were throughout the race? Did you know?
Sure. Yeah, sure. I watched the restream. I watched the broadcast. But yeah, I think Kaz will be telling the same. I mean, when you have a stupid death, whenever in the race, first one or the second one, you are still like, you're not relaxed anymore. And I mean, I was 1 minute away from the first race, and like I said, I want to see somebody playing relaxed after what happened in the first race, and in the second I had 4 passive Bs, and I mean, Kaz had also the same situation, like many deaths. Yeah, I was definitely not relaxed. Last claw again, thunder, I was not fast enough to avoid it, so it's fine. Like the better guy won, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I agree. I was actually kind of hoping for a race 3 because I really wanted to put together, I think you wanted to put together a run too that was actually like a decent run. Like, I don't know, I actually just recovered from pneumonia, so this is probably my 2nd day back playing, so but I felt like after I died the first time, I kind of settled into the run and just kind of started putting together some good times and some good markers and stuff like that. But you know, Berlin and I can do a lot better than what we did today. So yeah, I think we were both kind of hoping for a race 3 because I knew we wanted to put together that run that just, you know, for the fans and everybody like that. So
yeah, forget what you saw in game 1 and 2. This is the real thing here, ladies and gentlemen. But that's the way that MMX Any % goes, I guess.
It's fine. I mean, we are not looking for any excuses, but it's like when things happen, like death or a clutch finish or a right claw killing us. What can you do? What can you do?
I think, but at the same time, and it goes back to what I've been saying, you know, any %, you're really going to see, you know, the mark of the true, you know, the mark of the true warrior and the speedrunner. You know, Berlin showed us his warrior today. He really pushed through and finished the race. It is not easy to do when things are not going your way, to be able to push through and finish off the final boss. So, you know, shout out to Berlin. Great job, dude.
GG, Kaz. I mean, it's always a pleasure to play with you, but I just hope that the next race you go will be without deaths, or let's say, less deaths.
I died, what, 4 times? I died to Eagle, I died to Sig 2, I died to Spider, I died to Intro.
Yeah. Was interesting. Yeah, but just like I said, I mean, no excuses, but any percent the claws can really screw you up, especially when they don't let you up. Like you saw it in the second attempt in the first race when I was just staying there and I got sparks and thunders and right claw and whatever. I was
that was ridiculous. That was just like, it was the perfect example of how unfair that fight can absolutely be.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, at the same time too, I was kind of like, you know, I wasn't necessarily following like every single part of the race. Kind of like I have the stream on pause because my stream will lag really bad if I have it playing all the time. So I would just like in between like boss doors and in between boss doors and in between fights during the explosion, I would kind of refresh the stream and see where everybody was. So I knew in both races you were a fair bit of ways. And then I never saw a done come down, and I was like, "Oh man, something bad had to happen."
Yeah, like, it's happening. I mean, it's like I mean, like I said, one hit away, and then just I got the lightning, the right claw came. Yeah, in the first race, the right claw came and just crushed me. And happening. I mean, one hit away. What can I do? It's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm happy that you won, because you're a friend of me. We know each other. We are one of the oldest friends in that. We know each other from the beginning, so I'm very happy that you won. Yeah. He's one of the first guys. He went to my chat, and I was also following him. So like 1.5 years ago, and I'm very happy that at least we had a tight race, even when it was not fortune without the deaths and everything would be better. But I'm happy that at least it was a tense, changing every second situation.
Yeah, like I said, I was actually really excited when I got your message saying that we had got grouped together, because I knew it was going to be a really good race. I was actually thinking it was going to be a really good race in a good way, and not in a, oh my god, everybody's dying everywhere way. But it was still a good race.
It was. It absolutely was. I watched the whole thing up here in the commentator's booth, so I can tell you as a viewer, it was a great race, actually. Very tense, very exciting. Congratulations, Berlin Dude. Unfortunately, that's it.
It's fine.
For your tournament life. Did you have a good tournament? Was it a good experience?
Yeah, I mean, I had the funny 2-stop swag race. Really funny.
Right.
When he was climbing the elevator completely and making it up, so making some swag strats. It was really nice to watch. And Hundo against my friend Shadow Zero was interesting to play it again. So I really definitely enjoyed my tournament. And like I said, was a race for everyone today. It could be 2-0 for me, but it's 2-0 for Kaz, so I'm accepting it. And I'm hoping that he does a good continuing in the race, in the tournament, as much as he can, with less deaths and death kicks and things like that.
I didn't die to death kick. I just
fall.
No, I've had the platform I do in Eagle stage from 1 to 2. I actually do the top route platform. And basically what happens is going from the first platform to the second platform, it needs to be a fluid jump straight on. Well, I actually was a little bit slow on my jump, and so I had to wall kick onto the platform. And when you wall kick onto the platform, you actually have to take a damage boost from the turret. Well, my damage boost caused me to miss a dash, and so I just jumped straight off. So it was... it was an error that I've made plenty of times in practice and stuff like that. So I was kind of content with the fact that, hey, this can happen. So I've got to really time my dash, but I was rushing and I just didn't time my dash right and just jumped straight off. So, you know, that's not something that is uncommon either. You know, I've died there before, so it wasn't a surprise to me to die there again.
You know what that shows us every time that we are humans and not mechanics and robots, and I'm okay with that. I mean, mistakes can happen, and tense is there, and adrenaline is there, and the blood is pumping, and the heart is shaking, and everything, and you are in the end. So yeah, I mean, who has the coolest nurse, of course, can win the season.
Yeah. And, you know, it just goes to show you, any percent can be a real piece of work.
Well said.
Glad that we made a show for you all, and yeah, I think we need a buff both right now, or something like that. Something to eat, or I don't know, some sugar, things like that.
Sounds good. All right, so best of luck in this tournament, Kazmazotz. You've got the spirit of your defeated friend now rides with you through the rest of this tournament, if you can excuse my dramatic phrasing, but all the same, best of luck, and thanks so much for coming in to talk to us.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you for the reason.
Thanks for the journey.
So alright guys, that's going to do it for Mega Man X here on Speed Gaming 2. In about 1 hour, we're going to have our Link to the Past randomizer daily starting up on twitch.tv/speedgaming1. And that's going to be, what is today? It's the 5th, right? Yeah, that's going to be our open race. Good old-fashioned open mode. So stay tuned for that. But that's it for us for now. If you want to see Mega Man X matches coming up, there's the link there in chat. Currently none scheduled, but I'm sure there will be some on the horizon, even with AGDQ coming up in just a couple days. So I hope you all have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.